now, as almost midnight, a preview for tomorrow's episode. I feel a weird interconnection of every area of all my past lives in a really God-anointed way. I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow. Good night. Mate, I'm feeling it today. I sound a little bit under the weather. I'm okay though. I'm not sick. I'm just slow to start. Slow to start today because I had a big day yesterday. I went to Sydney for the day. Yes, for the day. Which was a much smaller feat when I used to do it in previous years because I don't like being away from home. You know, I love my family, I love my home, I love my country. But, you know, I thought, I want to go down to this event. It's for work as well, so I kind of had to. But I'll make it a day trip. But where we are, we're much further from the airport. So to catch a flight that got me in relatively on time, and to catch a flight that I had to kind of squeeze it to get out, to get back at a reasonable hour, meant that my day, I set an alarm for 2:30 a.m. yesterday morning, but Zia woke me up at 2:03. I would have loved those extra couple minutes of sleep. Anyway, so I got on the road about 2:45. I did miscalculate, so I'm glad she got me up earlier. I made it just in time to run and get to the gate as it was boarding. Jumped on the plane, had a massive, massive day. Absolutely huge day. Just from the second I got there, I got to the event, I got to the not stadium, what's the conference center. And I thought I need a coffee. Like, first and foremost, your boy needs coffee. So I lined up in the coffee line, and people started sort of immediately talking to me. I had somebody that sort of recognized the company that I work for on the badge. I had people that recognized me for some of the work that I'd done online, and from like the coffee line before your boy had coffee. People were just... My social battery was cooked by the end of the day. I had a list of people that I wanted to see. There's still like 2 or 3 that I didn't actually cross eyes with all day. Like, I didn't see these people. And I've had to shoot them a message going, I am so sorry. I was just busy all day. But something happened. And it got my brain moving in a way that I'd never really thought. I never, thought like this before. 2 things happened, actually. So, my father, he's a little bit older than me. Shocker. One of his former colleagues was at the event, who he'd built his own business. And it was, it was sort of a thought that I had. I was like, I wonder if Dad ever saw those worlds colliding. His old colleague from 15 years ago and his son, in the same room doing the same sort of thing. And unfortunately, he was one of the people that I was supposed to go and talk to, but I was hammered all day. But then, in the evening, just as I was about to leave, actually, just as I was about to go catch a plane, about 20 minutes before, I was chatting with somebody, again, somebody that I have met and worked with in sort of multiple worlds that I never saw crossing, but they do. And across from where we were walking, I was like, I recognize that face. And I called out, and sure enough, turned around, and it was my former computer studies class teacher from when I was in grade 11. I was like, mate, what's going on? What are you doing here? And yeah, long story short, he'd been at the event all day. Because they use the platform that I work in, and we just started chatting, and I introduced him to the guy that I'd been working with for some other things, and there's a potential that they might work together now. I was like, there's been so much of this going on in my life recently. And the timing of it is insane. it's the timing that really got me thinking, hang on a second, is this coincidence or is God pushing some stuff around right now? Like, it sounds silly. I might have mentioned it in another vlog. In fact, I think I mentioned it in a recent vlog too, about why it's such a big deal that I'm changing away from an Apple Watch. And it was because back in high school, I told the story how I had a computer studies class and they changed up the entire computer lab to Macs overnight. And it upset me, and, because I was a Windows guy, and then that was the only teacher that I ever, got genuinely upset and swore at, which was not good. That was him. That was him. I told that story, I think it was like this week. I'm pretty sure it was this week I told that story. Haven't seen him in so long. Saw him this week. Connections formed left, right, and center. I'm starting to wonder. Now that we're actually making steps with this Vanuatu trip, things are starting to come together, and people are starting to, I'm starting to realize the connections in my life in ways that I never have before. So there's somebody at my church that I connected to because they'd done a bit of work out in Vanuatu. And I'm just going to move this bar because I don't trust the girls. They're going to get out again. And I asked him, I was out of curiosity, I was like, can I pick your brain about, or do you happen to know about, immigration and banking and all these things in Vanuatu? He goes, I don't, but I'll put you in touch with this person who does. And I was like, okay, cool. And I started chatting to this other person. And she's like, are you going for work or for life? I said, oh, well, I said, I'll be bringing my business with me, be doing all these things. I said, but there's something that's been on my heart, and it may sound crazy, but I want to build a program where we get a Bible into the hands of every person born out in Vanuatu on their 10th birthday. And we build something that lasts and continues to do that, so that we can get God's word into every single person's hands in that country, and then help them where I know there's a bit of a literacy gap in some areas. We can use what we have to try and bridge that gap. She goes, I'm very well connected with somebody who's very high up in Gideon's Bibles. And I know that they've got that translation. Maybe I can put you in touch with her. I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, what? Oh, mate. God works in ways that you just never know until it happens and it starts unrolling. Look at this. Look at all these bees. There's so many bees today. We must have had a little bit of rain yesterday. It looked like we were having a little bit of rain as I was both taking off and leaving. Actually driving in the morning, sort of that, 3 o'clock to 5:30, whatever it was. There was a bit of rain. All the new flowers have come up. But yeah, this is something I'd never thought to do, was to really start to assess and identify the connections that you've made and the people, because maybe God's doing some work in your life that you don't see. And the second you pay attention, it'll just be like, whoa, hang on a second. That's what I learned. So anyway, but it got me thinking on that train of thought of realizing all these different connections. The guy that I mentioned, Dad had done some work with 15 years ago, the company he runs now, I wonder, I'm going to hit him up, if we can expand what he does into Vanuatu. You never know. You never know. They do some good work. They do. Basically, they've got a company that distributes phones to, or makes available phones to domestic violence victims, so that they can communicate, so that they got their own, safe line of communication. Because often they find that, in situations like that, their communications tools are compromised or controlled. So this organisation will basically recycle, so to speak, people's old phones and make them available to victims of domestic violence. Brilliant cause. So I wonder, maybe, you never know. You just never know. Anyway, so I'm feeling very, very, very equally, not, is inspired the right word? I feel like awake in a new way, like I'm seeing things that I never noticed before. And I'm also exhausted. But anyway, we'll get back to it. I'm just getting some quick movement, a bit of sun. I've had a bit of coffee this morning. Now, yesterday I knew food options would not be super. So I decided, I'd start my 3-day fast early. But what I didn't calculate, what I didn't add into the equation was at busy events like that. Like I brought a water bottle. I was like, yeah, should be right. I'll keep the water up as well. I was so busy. I think I filled my water bottle twice. I filled my water bottle once. And both times drank it. It's a 1 litre water bottle. So I drank 2 litres at the event yesterday, which sounds like it's okay, but I drink a lot more than that. I was walking around and moving a lot. Well, actually, no, not a lot more than usual because I do this. But I was walking around doing things, talking a lot more, certainly talking a lot more. And the other thing I didn't consider was salt. So I had no Celtic salt to add to my water like I usually do to help keep my minerals up. So come the end of the day, I sat down in the airport terminal and I was just like dizzy, like just not feeling good. So I ended up eating some takeaway food. Not good. Really not good. I had you could call it, I would borderline call it a relapse. So today and this week will be about building back, recovering, sticking to a nice clean diet. What I'm thinking I will do is I'll take a little bit of a delay on the fast. Just get my nutrients up, put some real food back in my body, rehydrate, remineralize, and then do the 3-day fast for this week, this fortnight. So, onwards and upwards. I'm not gonna dwell. I'm not gonna be overly upset. I'm a little bit annoyed at myself, but at the same time, like, I did make it through to, after the event. I didn't eat the entire event, but because of the lack of water and the lack of salt, I felt dreadful. So I was like, no, I'm already tired. I have to make the drive home, which is another 3 hours after the flight. So I thought maybe in the short term, the safer thing is just eat something, have some salt, all these things. So that's what I did. But we're building back. Girls, come inside. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful Thursday. Sun is shining, the tank is clean. The tank is clean. Finding Nemo, great movie. I'm gonna go to work. Tired, but I feel good. I feel like things are on a path. Do I know exactly where on that path we are? No. Where the path is leading? Mostly, but not really. But we're moving, and it's on a path. So, that's a good thing. Happy Thursday.